Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. This is Lori Wilson with you on Community Voice. We have a broadcast bungalow full of American patriots, and we're going to be talking about Flag Day, which is coming up next week. So let me introduce everybody. Don Levins. Good morning, Don.
Good morning, Laurie.
From the Carroll County Veterans Memorial Park.
Yes.
I said that all correctly.
Yes.
I think that's a first.
Yeah, first out of 10.
No. I thought the odds were worse than that. And then we also have George Willis, who is laughing at me. Hey, George, how you doing?
Good morning.
Sons of the American Revolution.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Also, Sons of the Confederacy. Is that true?
No, ma'am.
I'm.
No, Sons of the American Legion.
Oh, Sons of the American Legion. Okay. And Larry Boswell. Hey, Larry.
Hey, trying to get the box straight.
Yes, we are on Facebook Live, and so if you're wondering, if you're hearing microphone sounds going back and forth, just check out Facebook Live, and you will see why. It's just mayhem here. And finally, Alice Robinson. Good morning, Alice.
Good morning, Lori.
And thank you for being here, Daughters of the American Revolution.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Well, okay, so let's talk about Flag Day. Let's start with you, George, please. And your bailiwick today, your assignment is to educate us on the history of the flag. The American flag, Old Glory, Stars and Stripes.
Stars and Stripes.
Forever. Okay,
June the 14th is Flag Day, and that date is selected because on June 14th, the Marine Committee of the Second Continental Congress adopted a motion which was presented to the Second Continental Congress, which read that the flag of the United States shall be of 13 stripes of alternate red and white, with a union of 13 stars of white in a blue field representing the new constellation. And that was ratified by the Second Continental Congress on June 14, 1777.
This may be a dumb question, but why the Marines?
That was just a committee of, I guess it's one of the, I think they were Marines who came before the Army, right, Donald?
No, Army
first. You gotta have a
Army first. No, the Army was first.
No, let's start a fight here with people that we know.
Well, good. If you have a fight, that's great. Everyone is going to want to watch on Facebook Live.
I'm not sure why, but that was the committee that was, I guess, charged with the flag.
How many did they do? Prototypes?
They were no. That was all it said. There was no no distinction as to how the stars were to be arranged or anything like that. And you can imagine if we gave a group of people an assignment to come up with, based on that, to come up with a flag, how many different ones we would get.
Well, let's go to Larry then. Larry Boswell, tell us about the symbolism of the colors. Why red, white, and blue?
White is for purity, the red is for valor, and the blue canton with the stars on it is for perseverance and justice.
Was that always the case, or was that sort of the designation? We choose red for valor probably because of the blood of the patriots that was shed?
Yes. George was telling me a while ago that you found, what was that you found?
Oh, and why the colors were on July the 4th, 1776, Continental Congress passed a resolution creating the Great Seal of the United States.
Oh, with the eagle and
right.
and
the colors that they picked for the seal were red, white, and blue, which was later used also as the colors selected for the flag. Mm-hmm. So, and it was based on the colors that were, I guess, prevalent. Some people say because that was the colors in the British flag.
That's what I was going to ask.
But it was it had to do with the wishes, as well, of course it was written afterwards, but it was written, that was the wishes of the founding fathers. Now, whether that included all of them or just a few, possibly even George Washington, I don't know. I don't really know. But it was the three common colors that go through the thread of American history as far as seals and emblems and flags and stuff.
Well, it makes sense, because we had a revolution, and so taking the colors of our mother country, I suppose, and then reconfiguring them, it seems to me that it would create some sort of kinship.
But like Larry said, what these colors represent, I'm sure that wasn't just because they put it on the flag and said this is what it represents, but I guess in other heraldry or whatever, those colors, that's what they stood for. So that's what they wanted to embody as a character of the country.
Yeah, Larry, let's talk about heraldry, because that's the tradition in England, as far as I can tell, of devising coats of arms and all that sort of thing. And so different colors mean different qualities, or they symbolize different qualities.
Yeah, when you're talking about the white, you're talking about purity.
Purity,
You're
yeah.
talking about the blue, you're talking about valor or honor. And then the Canton, the blue field with the white stars on it, that is representing perseverance and justice in the country.
So did anyone think about green or yellow? Do you think? I was just wondering.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah,
I take from your laughter that the answer is no, you silly girl. Okay. Alice, I wanted to ask you about flag etiquette. You said that was your bailiwick. That's what you're going to
Yes.
talk about today. Get nice and
That
close
is.
to the microphone. And by the way, everybody, you should see us. We're all crowded in here in the broadcast bungalow on Facebook Live.
Okay, I'm going to read 6 standards of respect. It's from the flag code, which formalizes and unifies the traditional ways in which we give respect to the flag. The first one is the flag should never be dipped to any person or thing. It's flown upside down only as a distress signal. The flag should not be used as a drapery, a covering for a speaker's desk, or draping a platform. The bunding of blue, white, and red stripes is available only for its use as a flag. The flag should never be used for advertising purposes. It shouldn't be embroidered, printed, or otherwise impressed on articles such as cushions, handkerchiefs, napkins, boxes, or anything intended to be discarded after temporary use. The flag should not be used as part of a costume or athletic uniform. The flag should never have placed on it or attached to it any mark, insignia, letter, word, number, figure, or drawing of any kind. The flag should never be used as a receptacle for receiving, holding, carrying, or delivering anything.
I think I might have broken some of those rules in my life.
Probably all of us
Well,
have.
when I was a kid, we lived in Australia, and my mom bought me, when we came home to the States for a visit, she bought me a pair of flag jeans. You know, it was the 70s. We were all very hip, very cool. And so there it was stars and stripes all over my jeans.
I think they're talking about the flag itself, making a pair of jeans out of a flag.
Okay.
Not some that resemble the flag.
Oh, okay, that's good. Because I was just thinking, oh my goodness, there's all
No.
sorts of. Okay, all right. And who came up with those rules?
Well, they're part of the flag codes, which I assume is a very important group, and I don't know who they are.
Well, George, you're our flag historian, right? So let me ask you, who was on this committee, if committee there was?
I really don't know. Do you guys know?
Don?
The flag code is not a law. It's a code, and I don't know who established. I don't believe it's a congressional piece of work.
Well, okay, Larry?
The code calls, Congress voted on this, I do believe, but in the retirement of the flag, it says something similar to a flag should be retired in a dignified way, preferably by burning.
Okay, and so to that point, and before we go to our first break, Don, tell us about how the Carroll County Veterans Memorial Park can help us retire our flags in a respectful way.
Okay, we have a flag service at the park. There's a little box over there. It looks like a post office box, which it is, painted up pretty like a flag receptacle. And we ask Carroll County and Carrollton residents who have distressed flags that are torn or ripped or faded, to bring them and stick them in that box, and then we remove them 2 or 3 times a week. It's amazing how many people are now participating in this, taking advantage of it. And then we do not respectfully with show, burn all of those flags. We take them to the sheriff's department, and they respectfully burn them in their incinerator, and they do it very respectfully, like Larry said, respectfully burn. Now, what
How
we do...
how does that respect manifest?
Come and watch me fold a flag
Okay.
at a veteran's funeral.
Yeah.
I don't have to say a word. You can see that I respect the flag.
Okay, so you do that
The
fold.
way, you touch it with respect.
Okay.
Okay, and they deputies respectfully burn the flag. They don't take a fork and scoop them up and throw them in. They
Okay.
are respectfully placed in the incinerator.
I think we've all probably seen funerals or flag ceremonies, so I think we know. Yeah,
You
we
can wad up the flag there, but most people who do that know that it is a very respectful moment in time.
Okay. Well, listen. I want to. Is it John Philip Sousa?
That was a man.
Didn't he write a flag anthem or something? Anyway,
Stars and Stripes Forever.
now I want to sing "Hooray for the Red, White, and Blue," but I respect all of you too much
Do
to
that
do
on
that.
the break so that people don't get started.
Oh, it's so true. Okay, so anyway, we are going to take our first break in here from Tanner Health System, and when we get back, more about our upcoming Flag Day remembrance, June 14th. So stick around, everybody.
Tanner, we're advancing health throughout West Georgia and East Alabama because we know that exceptional care isn't based on how many patients we serve, but how well we serve them. That's why we're focused on quality, delivering the best possible care for our patients. It's why we're expanding our clinical services and building new facilities to serve our growing community. And it's why we're looking beyond our hospitals and medical practices to develop sustainable wellness and preventive health programs in our region. What makes a hospital great has changed. It's not how many beds we have. It's how well we care for the neighbors who need them. Delivering the right care to every patient, every time, is how Tanner is advancing health with medicine beyond measure. Learn more at tanner.org or find a physician on our medical staff by calling 770-214-CARE.
And once again, Senor Producer comes through with some great John Philip. Is it John Philip Sousa? Okay. Oh, and let's keep that playing the whole time. I absolutely love it. Okay, so we're talking about. Did I tell you who we are and what we're doing? I got all. Okay, so Community Voice. Welcome to our second segment. This is Thursday, June the 7th, and that means a week from today will be Flag Day. And we have in studio with us, as you can see if you're watching on Facebook Live. First of all, we're all looking very glamorous. We're ready for the cameras, right? Right, everybody? So we have Alice Robinson, George Wheelis, Larry Boswell, and Don Levins. And we're just talking about all things Old Glory, basically. So let's start with you. Let's start this segment with you, George. Tell us a little bit more about the flag history. You said that there's more to learn.
I found it interesting that early on, as observances, although it was not official, I guess is what we would think, that cities across the United States and communities had observances of what we would now call Flag Day, and it was used for the Americanization of immigrant children. And it was done in schools and things like that. Which, and also, when we talked about the pledge one time, that was also. Americanization of immigrant children was they used the Pledge of Allegiance as well, but it went through a lot of cities, and finally, in 1916, President Woodrow Wilson, in 1927, President Calvin Coolidge issued proclamations asking for June 14th to be observed as National Flag Day. It wasn't until August the 3rd, 1949, that Congress approved the national observance and was signed by President Harry Truman. And since that the event there, then it's been on calendars as Flag Day, June 14th each year.
And as you said, I think in our first segment that June 14th was the date. 1777 was the date of the adoption of the flag.
Correct.
Okay, so who wants to talk about Betsy Ross? Because we can't have this conversation without some Betsy Ross. Anyone? 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 Silence. Crickets. Okay, we'll move on then. Okay, let's see, Larry. Talk about the folding of the flag. How I think we've probably all seen this very, very respectful, as Don was saying, very precise folding of the flag. And many widows have had those flags placed in their laps at their veteran husband's graveside. Can you talk a little bit about that ceremony?
When we fold a flag, each fold has a different meaning. And I'm sorry, but I don't have each one of them here. But as you fold it, you will read what that particular fold is. And at the end, the flag is presented as a award to the family and a member of the deceased.
My beloved has his father's flag,
Mm-hmm.
and it's one of his very most prized possessions. Yeah.
And when it's presented from the President of the United States and what the
Commanding General.
Commanding General, yeah.
So
It's thanking them for the service of the veteran.
yeah, it's a very beautiful and sacred moment, I think. Okay, so what sorts of commemoration or what sorts of ceremonies are you guys going to be having at the Memorial Park on Flag Day?
Well, now, the Memorial Park don't just have an event on Friday, the 14th of June now.
Okay.
We honor veterans, honor and memorialize veterans from the Revolution to current wars. That's what we do at the park. And we also host patriotic events throughout the year.
You guys were here for, what was it? It was the
Memorial Day. General Pershing was here, and we had a glorious time.
You know, that guy knows his history, General Pershing. Of course, he's the embodiment of history. How did that go?
It went fantastic. We had a rainy start. It wasn't raining, but some people thought it was raining, but we still had about 350 people show up.
That's great.
Last year we had over 400.
Wow.
But it was fabulous. The two big comments I get from him is the man really thinks he's Pershing, and the other one is best history lesson I ever heard.
Yeah, there you go. Of course he knows he's not Pershing.
I was honored in his personal comments as David Shuey on his Facebook page when he said that of all the events he attends, which is hundreds across America, this Carroll County, West Georgia, knows better than anybody else how to host an event. That was touching to come from somebody that's doing it and going. He represents, by the way, the National Centennial Commission nationwide.
Wow!
So,
and what does the commission do?
The National Centennial Commission planned the centennial, which has lasted 3 years. It's just ending this year.
The centennial of World War I.
So one of the tools that we provide at the Carroll County Memorial Park is to latch on to something like that and bring it to the community. Flag Day, that park gives us a vehicle through which we can sit here and talk to you about the flag. At this point in history, when we got people refusing to go and meet in the White House, because they do not want to honor their flag. I'm not saying they dishonor it, but we are hosting an event here where we will stand for the national anthem, and we will salute our flag, and we will try to demonstrate to the folks who attend how to feel, touch the flag of our nation, which our veterans followed with gun in hand to protect us and provide us the freedom that you and I sit here and enjoy today, to stutter and clamor on the radio.
Who's stuttering and clamoring? I am. Okay, you're right. You're right. I'm struck and stricken when I consider how little our kids seem to know about our country, about our country's history.
Ma'am, you listen. All that we do over there is for old gray-headed and bald-headed people. Very few of them rascals bring their grandkids with them.
That's such a shame.
No. What we are doing and what we will do at this flag event is kids ought to come and see it.
You should.
These
bring
folks
your
will be
kids.
dressed in their original George Washington coats.
Should have worn that today.
You should have
Should have
Facebook
worn it.
Live.
If you known it had been on TV, you would have.
Yeah.
I would have put makeup on if I had known we were going to be on TV.
Yeah, but let me give you an overall quickie of stuff that we do. We
Okay.
start in April by remembering that we fought a great war in our own country called the War Between the States. The Yankees call it civil. Wasn't nothing civil about it. Don't get me started on that. But then
Controversy.
in May we have Memorial Day, which you just talked about. Now we have Flag Day coming in May. And then in September, the first responders of Carroll County, we have been able to work with them from the Memorial Park to cause the creation of a committee of their own,
Oh, wow. That's
first
great.
responders,
That's great.
who will conduct a service on Friday, September 14th, not Saturday, because first responders are better, more available on Friday than on Saturday to attend, where the American Legion will then honor them who their own people have chosen as outstanding persons within the past year.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be an event at the park, and it'll be followed by they'll move with first responders to the Ag Center, where they will all be given a big lunch and shown respect for all that they do for our country.
That sounds wonderful. And I want to echo, just before we go to our next break, Don's comment that not enough kids are showing up to these events. And really, please bring your kids. I have a story to tell you on the other side of the break that will maybe highlight some of the concerns that are alarming me these days. But first, we're going to hear from Tanner Health System, and we'll be back in 60 seconds and wrap up our conversation about Flag Day, which is a week from today. So stick around, everyone.
At Tanner, we're advancing health throughout West Georgia and East Alabama because we know that exceptional care isn't based on how many patients we serve, but how well we serve them. That's why we're focused on quality, delivering the best possible care for our patients. It's why we're expanding our clinical services and building new facilities to serve our growing community. And it's why we're looking beyond our hospitals and medical practices to develop sustainable wellness and preventive health programs in our region. What makes a hospital great has changed. It's not how many beds we have. It's how well we care for the neighbors who need them. Delivering the right care to every patient, every time, is how Tanner is advancing health with medicine beyond measure. Learn more at tanner.org or find a physician on our medical staff by calling 770-214-CARE.
And we're back, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to our final segment of Thursday's Community Voice. Wow, 1 week from today we'll be celebrating Flag Day, and we have on Facebook Live, and that's why you guys are all looking so glamorous today, right? Well, me too. Anyway, so tune in on Facebook Live, but also, so we have Alice Robinson, George Wheelis. You guys are sons and daughters, respectively, daughters and sons of the American Revolution. And we have Larry Boswell. Larry, are you also with the Veterans, Carroll County Veterans Memorial Park?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And American Legion also.
And American Legion. And then our dear friend to the show, Mr. Don Levins.
I'll take that.
Yeah, well,
Well,
good.
yes, thank you.
I had occasion. I was shopping yesterday, and the person who was checking me out had reason to ask to see my ID, and so I was yes. Anyway, so I got out my ID. I thanked her profusely for asking because, you know, I have some gray hair. It's kind of obvious. And she said, 1961. I said, yeah. Who was president in 1961? This is a young American. And she thought for a minute, and I'm swearing that and this is true. She said, was it Ulysses S. Grant? And after I laughed, and an older woman who was sitting next to her says, "Oh, wasn't that? I think that was Kennedy." I just sort of, I laughed, and then I thought, "Uh-oh," I mean, come on, that wasn't even in the same century. So, is there anyone here who wants to talk a little bit about educating our kids about history and of our country, and maybe therefore learning to appreciate not just the flag? It's not just a thing. There's deep meaning, and many of our war veterans and our departed who have died for that flag and what it represents. Larry?
Oh, let me add to what Donald said a while ago. We do the same thing at Heritage Days.
Okay.
Flag retirement, and all the children, about 1,400?
1,400?
Yeah.
Wow.
1,400 children on Heritage Days will see that flag retirement. And we try our best to convey to those children the meaning of the flag, how they should respect it. I talk to them about that, and then we show them how that flag should honorably be retired. Mm-hmm. And they see us burn it, they see us go through the whole process. So hopefully by that they will better appreciate the flag and know that they should honor it. When it comes by in a parade, stand up, put your hand over your heart. Mm-hmm. Don't just ignore the American flag, because it has a deep meaning, and they need to understand that.
We have some forces, some cultural forces in our country that have been and are continuing to try and dilute, if not disregard altogether, the importance of this flag. What are your responses, Don?
Larry Boswell is chaplain of the Memorial Park. He's also coordinator of the Honor Guard, who performs 60. We perform over one funeral a week, presenting the flag to veterans when their families ask us. And Larry coordinates all of that. So we are into the flag from birth to death.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So if families have a veteran.
Well, when a veteran passes away, the funeral homes in Carroll County always inquire, was this person a veteran? And if so, do you choose to have the flag presentation part of it? And if so, who do you want to perform it? And they have a choice of us, the branch of service that the veteran was in, or the Georgia National Guard. Three services. Well,
we have 2 minutes left. Larry, I wanted to get back to you, if you don't mind. You just make a distinction between the disposal of the flag and the retirement of the flag, right?
In a retirement, the flag is presented to the audience. Taps is played, and then I start in the process of retiring the flag. And each stripe representing the 13 original colonies is cut. And then that flag is taken to the burn pit, and that stripe is taken to the burn pit, and it's burned, all 13 of that. And then when we get down to the blue and with the stars on it, we burn it all together. And the meaning there is that the union should never be broken. And then the blue with the stars on it is burned.
So, okay, let me just make sure, because I don't think I've ever heard this. So you've the 13 stripes, mm-hmm. you burn singly.
Yeah.
And then sort of e pluribus unum, you burn all of the stars. Okay, that's lovely. We have 1 minute left. So who wants to take it?
And the 13th last stripe that's cut and burned is the state of Georgia, and that always gets special attention.
Well, listen, I want to thank all of you guys for being here and reminding us of just a little bit of our, we could have been talking for 3 hours about this, but let's remember Flag Day. That's a week from today. And you know what, everyone? Teach your kids about the flag. Bring them out to Flag Day ceremonies. And thank you for being with us.
The event's Saturday, though.
Okay, Saturday. Okay, Saturday. Don't forget. Okay, bye-bye.